4K gaming PC build I've wanted to build for years, and it's absolute peak because we've gone with an RTX 5090, the fastest gaming GPU in the world, and the 7800X3D, one of the only processors that will actually keep up with it. So, with the help of FSP, the sponsor of today's video, let's build it. I can hear you typing already, why not the 9800X3D? To be honest, I didn't have one lying around at the time when I built this PC, but I have one now. Stay tuned for that because it's going to be crazy. For 4K with a 5090, the 7800X3D is totally fine. We're still getting crazily high frame rates from what you're going to see in a minute, and it's slightly cheaper than a 9800X3D. Not like that really matters if you're going with a PC of this caliber, and it's also slightly more efficient, which doesn't really matter in the eyes of the motherboard, because it's got very beefy VRM heating. So this is the X870 Elite Wi-Fi 7 from Aorus, and it will handle virtually any CPU, including overclock 9950Xs, without a sweat. It's got plenty of expansion options, and we're filling one of the 4 M.2 slots with Crucial's brand new T710. This is the fastest available consumer NVMe on the market, which is very fitting for a build like this. Populating 2 of the 4 DIMM slots is Crucial's new 64 mega transfers CL32 DDR5 Pro OC. Bit of a long name, but the performance is short and snappy. On AM5, don't populate more than 2 slots because it gives the memory controller a hard time, and you're not really going to be getting your XMP rated speeds because the memory controller is put under a lot of stress. Taking the heat stress away from the 7800X3D, which admittedly there isn't a lot, is the FSP MP7, which is a very nice name. It's a dual tower, dual fan air cooler, and it's a perfect option for higher TDP chips. Like I said, the 7800X3D is pretty efficient and barely uses any power, but if you had something a bit more power hungry, this cooler will handle it. It's also very easy to mount, at least on AM5. As for Intel, I'm not quite sure, but I suspect it's a very similar process. Mounting the motherboard in FSP's M580, and we've got plenty of space with it's a regular sized ATX motherboard, but that's a good thing. It's a fish tank design, but the glass panel is one singular unit. It's curved tempered glass, which is not something I've dealt with before, or used is probably a better word for that, but it's extremely premium feeling. Adding to that are the 4 included ARGB PWM fans, which are controllable with the LED on the case, so you don't need to install motherboard software, which is a huge win for me. Less bloat ring on your system, the better. And they've also got an infinity mirror design on the side of them, which looks very cool. We need an insane power supply for a PC like this, and FSP delivered. This is the Mega TI 1650 watt, and it is an absolute unit. Like the name suggests, it provides 1650 watts to your system, which means a gaming PC like this is going to be operating within the efficiency window, and especially as it's 80 plus titanium, yeah, it's supremely efficient. But it comes included with 2 12-volt 2x6 connectors, so if you wanted to run a workstation of maybe 2 Quadro RTX 6000s or 2 5090s, you can do that with this power supply, which is kind of insane considering the power requirements of the 5090 at 600 watts. Speaking of, in goes the Aorus Master RTX 5090. Gigabyte sent this out for this video and the previous one we did. You can watch that up there, by the way, after this video, but I don't get to keep it, unfortunately. I wish I could, but it barely fits in the M580 because it's a huge graphics card. You can get the side panel on, but it kind of squishes the 12-volt 2x6 connector, which is not ideal if you know anything about this power connector. So a Founders Edition 5090, or maybe even a lower end SKU like a 5070 Ti is a better bet for this case, because the Aorus Master is just extreme. It's like a crazy graphics card. It's got its own sag bracket which screws into the side of the GPU, so that's how you know this graphics card isn't playing around. That cooler isn't just for vanity, it keeps the core at around 70 degrees C under a gaming load, which also means the FSP M580 isn't struggling cooling this system. hardware combo like this is excellent for 4K gaming. Well, it should be. It's literally one of the best gaming combinations you could possibly have in the world right now. But 4K native is what we're going with. We don't need any of that upscaling rubbish. It's not rubbish, I do actually like DLSS upscaling, but yeah, we're on a 5090, okay? Cyberpunk 2077 on the RT Ultra preset gets more than 60 FPS at native. DLSS is always an option to you, and you can heavily boost your frame rate for not a lot of quality loss, so that's great. Battlefield 6 on the Overkill preset, which is very fitting for this Overkill gaming PC. We still get around 130 FPS at 4K native. Yet again, DLSS is always an option, and it will heavily boost your frame rate. Then an optimized AAA game like God of War Ragnarok will see around 180 FPS on average with very good 1% lows. So like, no matter what you throw at this rig, unless if it's Borderlands 4 or some other Unreal Engine slop, you're going to be having excellent frame rate and frame times too. I've got a separate review video of the RTX 5090 where we tested more in depth, and we tested it with the 7800X3D. So if you want more performance figures, that'll be a good video for you. The 5090 is an incredibly expensive card at around £1,800 here in the UK for the MSRP models, and about £2,400 for the Aorus Master. So if you wanted a more tame GPU, I don't blame you. Something like an RTX 5070 Ti, which is what I daily drive, it's a good GPU. Or even the RTX 5080 would still do quite well at 4K, but you'd probably need to do some settings tweaking or enable DLSS to get playable frame rates. I like builds like this. They're more simplistic as they're air-cooled. There's less moving parts in them, which is about to change because I'm planning an insane PC build, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I don't want to release too many details about it just yet. But for a Ryzen 7, like the 7800X3D, you don't need more than an air cooler. Yes, AIOs and custom loops look cool, but from a practicality, functional aspects is what I meant to say. Air cooling is more than enough. Just like the performance of this PC, it is more than enough for virtually everyone out there. It's more than enough for me, and I demand quite a bit from my games. That's a bit of a lie, I mainly play old games. I'm playing Black Flag at the minute, so yeah, that's a game from 2013. But one thing I probably would change about this PC to truly make it the best gaming rig out there is change the 7800X3D to a 9800X3D, which might help you out at 1440p, especially in esports games. You might see higher frame rates there. But other than that, if you're playing at 4K, the 7800X3D is a perfectly fine CPU. Well, I should hope so. It's about £350 here. With that being said though, if you want to see a full in-depth video of the RTX 5090, you can watch that video up there. With that being said though, catch you in the next one.